Could I have your attention, please? We'll be starting up shortly. Good evening and welcome to the Lowell Planning Board for Monday, November 6th, 2023. The first matter on the agenda this evening is the approval of the minutes for October 16th, 2023. Any of the board members have any questions, comments?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made and second. All in favor say aye. Chair votes yes.
Aye.
Both matters have been approved. Okay, moving along tonight, we have a site plan review for 22 Bowers Street. The Lowell Planning Board will hold a public hearing to hear all interested persons relative to an application by Lowell J.C. Place Limited Partnership to construct a solar canopy covering an existing parking area at the above address. The property is located in the urban neighborhood multi-family zoning district and requires site plan review approval under section 11.4. May we hear from the applicant, please? Just come to the microphone, state your name for the record, please.
Hi, I'm Samiksha Pauril. I'm representing the client regarding the project. I'm a civil engineer for the site. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer. We're just adding the solar canopies in a parking lot as shown on the site plan. And no parking spaces are being reduced.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add?
That would be all that
Okay.
I have.
Anybody else on behalf of the applicant want to speak? No? Okay. All right, then I'll start off to see if anybody here like to speak in favor of this project? Anybody in favor, in favor, in favor? Hearing none. Anybody here this evening like to speak in opposition? In opposition? In opposition? Hearing none. At this time, I'll turn it over to the board members. Do you have any questions or comments? Mr. Fischett, if I can start with you?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Question, have you in possession of the memo from DPD? And there was just, they were recommending and even looking at the plans just for the board to inquire about the snow accumulation and removal, especially with the panels, and I, you know, obviously with the benefit of the internet, just looking at dealing with snow on panels, but obviously they can slide off. I'm just a little curious as to how do you handle snow, because looking at the design, it looks like they're angled, and it angles to the driving aisles between the parking spots. So just curious as the treatment on that, especially in the Northeast with snow.
So typically light snowfall will melt off fairly quickly on the panels.
I'm sorry, if you could just put the microphone a little bit, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Typically light snowfall will melt off fairly quickly on the panels. However, snowfall may slouch off like any other slope's roof. Snow guards can be discussed with the manufacturer if that's required by the city on the panels.
So how would that be handled on the panels? So I honestly, I'll be honest, when I looked it up, I thought there would be like a heating component and the snow would melt as it lands on the panels. Maybe something that will be developed in the future. But so I know based on the surface, it appears like it would slide. So at a certain depth, would you remove it or would it slide? I just, from a safety perspective, I'm just curious how that's handled in a parking lot like that.
Can I get back to you on that? We discussed about providing the snow guards, but I'll look into the details and I'll provide the details.
Well, the snow guards, did I hear that correctly? Is it, so how does that
So
work?
that it doesn't slide off.
Okay.
And then it will be cleaned manually.
Okay, all right, so the snow guards where it's angled and it prevents it from sliding off into those drive lanes?
Yes.
Okay, all right, no, that's what I'm trying to understand that. Yeah, and then it looks like you're basically keeping the same, you're not eliminating any parking, the traffic circulation remains the same.
Yes.
So obviously that seems pretty straightforward there. And it looks like you meet the setbacks. I did look at the lighting. I thought that was pretty interesting. It looks like it looked like the first floor of a parking garage with the lighting underneath. So therefore, it stays on the site too. It doesn't come off. It lights up the parking area, but obviously does not illuminate off to say abutting properties, right?
Yeah, it wouldn't.
And based on our zoning code, what is the maximum height of these panels?
We don't, the design of the canopy hasn't been started yet. We wanted to get the approval from the planning board, but it's definitely going to be below the 16 feet, the requirement of the town.
And then you're meeting all the setbacks based on the location, so I really, and we didn't have any comment from the engineering department. It looks like, and I know we have impervious surface on the lot already, but does that add to the runoff? I'm just surprised we didn't have anything from the engineering department. And I guess maybe I could ask Dylan. Dylan, did engineering comment on this at all, or?
I'm not aware of any comments from engineering or stormwater.
Okay. Well, interesting. What is your experience with that as far as the runoff and?
We did coordinate it with Gordon, I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong, Bergerson, staff engineer. He looked at the plans and he didn't have any issues. And the grading of the site is not changing, so eventually it's going to get into the catch basins. And it's like very minimal green area that's being covered with canopy, so he didn't have any issue, and he doesn't think that it.
They didn't feel that then there was a net increase worthy of addressing. Okay, good. All right, again, I know you're the engineer, not the owner of the property, but I applaud the effort to obviously utilize the solar panels, and hopefully, again, as we try to become a more green community and try to utilize other sources of electricity. So from that perspective, I do like that. I just wish these panels were more attractive looking, but and I mean, hopefully in time that'll happen, but I certainly understand. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Shett. Shanae, any questions, comment?
No comment, no question, thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the energy that you get from these solar panels, are they gonna end up utilizing the whole building there, or will it be, I know sometimes you can store some, if you get extra, or how much will it use? Just a curiosity question.
Sure. My name's Scott Coggins. I'm with Silver Street Development, a representative of the owner of Lowell J.C. Place. So I didn't want to jump out because I don't want to get in the engineering
No,
questions.
I hear you.
In terms of the energy load, it offsets about half of the electricity load of the building itself. And so what it allows us to do is save money on electricity, allowed us to expand the leverage or debt on the property, to expand the scope of work we could do in the renovations that are being completed by our general contractor now. But it is a great offset, obviously, with the tax credits generated by the solar. It's really a great benefit for the property itself. And particularly long-term with electricity rates, it's a shield against rising electricity rates for the property.
Yeah, because we haven't really seen anything of this size for solar panels, you know?
Exactly.
Right, so we did one in Virginia 2 years ago. That was probably twice this size. Then it was a larger property, but it's been a great boon to the ownership and the residents because it offsets about a third of that energy electricity, and it was a big solar field here. To be quite frank, the residents probably don't care as much about the electricity savings as they are the carports, because it's the parking for these residents. They love their parking.
Yep.
They love it even more if it's covered from snow and ice. So I do understand your concern relative to sort of the sheeting of snow coming down, so it's something we'll look at for a solution. Obviously, we have maintenance on site constantly, so should we have a big shed of snow, but it is a safety issue that we need to obviously address, we'll make sure we do that. But yeah, I mean, they're just looking at them as carports. That's wonderful for them in the wintertime that they don't have to go out and clean their cars. So it's not something we necessarily thought about, but we knew the moment we'd sort of installed the carports, it was something that they'd probably appreciate, so.
And you probably don't have that snow problem down in Virginia most of the time, right?
We do not. That's just the excess land that we had. We put a huge solar field, about a half a meg, in the back of it. It was just excess land that we couldn't build on, that we thought it would be a good idea to put solar down there. So we're trying to integrate solar on lots of our properties across our whole portfolio. We have another megawatt one we're looking in Salem, same thing, carports, partly because it helps, again, offset electricity usage, and also residents in the Northeast would rather have their cars covered if at all possible. So, and obviously lighting, as she had mentioned, it's good for safety reasons to make sure there's lights underneath the panels to make sure we're keeping residents safe, morning, late.
And all those lighting under the panels is all from the solar, right? The lights are generated through the solar?
Well, usually the lights underneath the panels themselves, yep.
Yeah. Interesting. But thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't have any further questions. Like I said, we got some comments from staff. Mr. Bichette touched on those. There wasn't anything that jumped out. I mean, things seemed to be in order in regards to the zoning code. We didn't hear any opposition against it. I know you posted your sign. I was there looking at it the other day, right at the entrance coming in. You couldn't miss it for tonight's meeting. Some people forget to put the sign up, but yeah, as soon as you come in the driveway, it's right there on the right, posted up nice and big for everybody to see. So the neighborhood is aware of it. Yeah, so, yeah, I have no concerns. What's the request of the board? So it's just all it needs is site plan approval? That's all they're requesting.
So, Mr. Chairman, where they're still in, I guess, the design phase of the panels, I would just make a motion to approve with the condition that they comply with section 4.14 relative to the height, and as well as section 4.414 relative to the setbacks, which I know the applicant is aware of that, but again, where the final design is not in place, just place a condition on.
Okay. Thank you. So we have a motion on the floor.
I'll second the motion.
Second motion made in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye?
Chair votes yes. Any opposition? Hearing none. The site plan is approved. 3 in favor, none against. Good luck. Wish you well.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Moving along on the agenda, do any board members have anything on the new or other business?
Mr. Chairman, I just would say that NEMCOG was hoping to announce that we would be moving to a new home December 1st, but I think there's been a little delay in that, but we're moving the offices to the Warner-Lancet Mill,
Oh, okay.
not far from where the LDFC and Lowell plant located. So it may be mid-December. We're going to have a sort of a soft open house, but I'll keep you posted on that. It should be a nice space.
Thank you. Okay, moving along, we have Community Preservation Committee appointment. The planning board will appoint a member of the board to the Community Preservation Committee. The appointment will last for a 3-year period.
Mr. Chairman, I believe Sinead is serving on that and has been serving for some time and doing a good job in keeping us abreast of really the exciting projects that I've been working on. So if she would love to continue to serve, I would nominate her as a representative on the Community Preservation Commission.
I'll second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye?
The motion carries. We've appointed Sinead. Thank you very much, Sinead.
Thank you for the nomination and the appointment.
And being on the board, and plus it's good to be on the, after you've been on it before, for the continuity of things going forward. Makes it a little easier, once you've been on the board for a little while, yeah. Just instead of starting up straight new, but you like to know what's going on.
Just for the record, I've been on NEMCOG for 15 years now.
A lot of continuity there.
Prior to Jerry on, I was on it for the same period of time, basically. It was one of those when we first started, if someone didn't show for a meeting, you got appointed to everything. You'd be sitting there saying, what, who's that?
If you're there, you're appointed.
Yeah, if you didn't make it, you read it in the minutes the next meeting. So, so if there are any further comments from the board or staff?
I'll give
Go ahead.
I'll give just a brief update
Sure.
on the CPC. So we started hearing applications. We have, I think, 6 total applications. We started hearing from the applicants themselves. The application period is over. We'll hear, from what I understand, we'll hear from one additional applicant at our next meeting on December 7th, and then I think we expect to deliberate at the following meeting in January. So I think our deliberation will be in January. And like past years, the requested amounts are much more than the amount available. And so it'll be, it'll be an interesting deliberation period and a lot of good projects.
Great.
So how many projects do you anticipate that you will be approved?
It's hard to know because there's 6 projects, so sometimes we'll just give a lesser amount.
Oh, I see.
So that you can
Okay.
give to more projects, but
I got
so
ya.
it's hard to know. And then we can also bond projects, so we can also exceed the total amount available. So it's a little bit of a balancing act,
What
so.
happened the last go I remember was, because I was interested in Rowley's Farm and everything else, and I thought you guys did a great job with the King Solomon approach on a lot of
Yeah,
that.
so depending on the applications themselves, and if there is some time sensitivity, the committee could choose to do that.
nice.
Or it's technically a recommendation to the city council.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Okay, we can entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion's made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. We have adjourned. Good night and thank you, everyone.